Gun drama strikes again. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. I am your host, The Average, and I quote, duty rated, concealed carry rated, Staccato fanboy that your mom said that we have at home. Thanks for watching. Guys, the purpose of today's video is we're going to talk about the latest, internet drama surrounding Staccatos. Ben Stager has, or Stoger, not sure entirely how to pronounce it, has a series he's been doing on his Staccato XC, and a lot of guys are taking note of it. T-Rex Arms, administrative results. A lot of guys are evaluating these type of handguns right now. I know Honest Outlaw has been doing it for a long time, but I just want to give you my thoughts in a one-stop video of everything that I've experienced with this handgun. This is a Staccato C2, okay? It is my concealed carry gun, but I want to give you some honest thoughts in a one-stop shop of what your expectations should be if you're going to get involved with a 2011, particularly the Staccato brand. Before I get too far into it, guys, you already know the deal. If you want to continue seeing content on the channel, you need to become a member of the Patreon. It's only $5 a month, gets you access to our Discord server where you can stay up late and debate if this thing is actually duty rated or not. If you're a cop and you're carrying a Glock or a Staccato, post down below which one you're carrying. Okay, if you want to join the Discord, consider checking out the Patreon. Instagram is where you see all the behind the scenes lifting content and things like that, okay? If you want to see all that, like the Instagram. And last but not least, Palmetto State Armory. If you need 9mm to put through your Staccato, consider checking out the sponsor of the video, PSA, Mega Base. Thank you, Palmetto State Armory. Okay, let's talk about it, guys. So this video is going to serve as a one-stop shop to give you some honest feedback on the reliability and the use of a Staccato, okay? My background on the handgun. I was carrying a Glock 19 and a Glock 43X and weapons very similar to that, such as the Shadow Systems, etc., for a long time. And then one day I got the Staccato itch and I decided I would pick one up, and I burned it down on the range, and I've been carrying it ever since. But I want to give you guys some realistic expectations of what you need to know about the handgun. So first and foremost, let's talk about maintenance, okay? Because Ben Stager has been talking a lot about maintenance of the firearm on his channel. This handgun has about 4,000 to 5,000 rounds on the gun. Is that a lot? No, not really, but that's what I can conservatively say. I'm not going to come out here and say, oh, it's got 800,000 rounds on the gun. It doesn't. So I can conservatively say that I know for a fact that I have refilled my ammo can 3 times. I have purchased over 5,000 rounds of fresh ammunition to always replenishing the stuff I'm putting through this particular pistol alone, not any of my other 9mm. So I can for sure say 4,000 to 5,000 rounds as a fact have been put through this gun. During that time, what have I experienced? Okay, let's talk about accuracy. This is the most accurate handgun I've ever fired. Keep in mind, I'm a Glock and SIG guy. I've carried a SIG M17, a Beretta 92, and a Glock 19, and a Glock 17. And this is the most accurate performing handgun I have ever fired. The bullet, if you do your part, literally goes at where you put it. I know it sounds crazy, right? And some guy's gonna be like, it's the shooter. Some of these Gen 3 Glocks, the bullet may not go exactly where you put the sights because the rifling and etc. But this weapon, with or without an optic, it will enhance your ability to actually hit what you're aiming at. If you do your part, the gun is extremely accurate. So that is one major pro, accuracy, okay? I've been extremely impressed with the accuracy of the handgun. It's a good gun to give to a girlfriend or a spouse or whoever, or a friend that wants you want to get them encouraged to shoot more. Give them a Staccato and have them shoot some steel real quick, and when they see the dot and the bullet go right where the dot is, it's pretty legit, okay? So accuracy is top notch, my favorite, definitely my favorite handgun as far as accuracy is concerned. Next is we'll talk about the magazines. The magazines, now stay to the end of this discussion because this is going to be where everyone freaks out in the comments, and that's fine. By the way, leave a taco emoji because we're talking about Staccatos, the Stacco taco. You get the deal. Leave a taco emoji down below to help support the channel. Let's talk about the magazines. Okay, if I was to go out the door right now and the end of the world happened, what magazine would I put in the gun? This is going to be kind of controversial, but I would put the 16 rounders. The 20 round magazines, so I should note, I have had exactly 0 malfunctions with the handgun ever, okay, ever. and we're going to get into the actual specifics of the maintenance that's been put onto the gun and stuff like that. But first, let's talk about the magazines. So the magazines, the 20 rounders do not lock back 100% reliably. I have a ton of these things. And I should note, they are extremely expensive. So if you're getting into the Staccato game, you need to know, I'm missing a couple, but you need to know that these things are expensive. I think they're like 60 or 70 or maybe more, maybe even $80. Somebody will tell me down below how expensive these things are. But one thing to note, the 20 round magazines at some point between the 4,000 to, if we're being realistic, this gun probably does have more like 8,000 rounds on it, but I can't 100% say that because other people have shot it for courses, etc., for training, and I've shot it a lot more than I think I do. But let's say conservatively, in the 5,000 rounds that we know have been put through the gun, within the last 1,000 rounds, if you watch the channel, you notice that the gun doesn't lock back anymore with the 20 round magazines. That is extremely concerning because if you're using this for duty use, you're going to get a click, no bang, tap rack, it still won't rack back, and then you're going to drop the old mag out, put a new mag in, and rack it again. That's an extremely time consuming process, especially if you're expecting, this gun is clear, okay, if you're expecting bang and the slide to reciprocate and lock, old mag out, new mag in, and slide forward. Oh, Trench, you shouldn't lower a 2011 slide without a bullet in the chamber to cushion the fall. This is a duty gun for me, so I treat it like a duty gun. I encourage you guys to do the same. Don't baby your Staccatos, okay? Treat them like your Glock. But with that being said, the 20 round magazines no longer cause the slide to lock back when shooting. So that is extremely concerning, okay? I'm not sure what the issue is. It's only with the 20 rounders. With the 16 rounders, it locks back every single time, no issues, okay? So that is one thing to note as far as reliability. Is that an actual malfunction? It is not. Okay, the malfunctions are defined as failure to feed, failure to fire, failure to extract, failure to eject, etc. Okay, so it is not an actual malfunction. However, it will potentially, could potentially cost you time during a match if you're shooting competitively, a lot of time, because if it's not locking back, it's probably not a good deal. And if you're in a gunfight, it could get you killed in the streets if you're click, no bang, okay, and by the time you get tap, rack, old mag out, new mag in, tap, rack, you could be dead. Right, I think some of you guys get what I'm getting at with that. So, other than that weird thing with the 20 rounders not locking back, I have had no issues with the magazines. In fact, if the 20 rounders would lock back every time, I would say get a 2011, like 100%, and don't just get a 2011, get a Staccato, because I've been extremely impressed with the performance of the 16 round magazines, no issues at all, and you can hear. I guess it's gonna be kind of hard to. Okay, there it is. Listen. You hear all that sand? I don't know if you guys are going to hear that because my high-speed microphone content or quality here is non-existent as you're watching this on an iPhone. But yeah, these magazines have sand in them and mud, and I've never cleaned them out, and they run 100% other than the lockback feature. So magazines are a plus. Next thing I want to talk about is ammunition. This gun is finicky with ammunition. Now, what I would note is if you get 115 or 124 grain full metal jacket, it runs like a top. I mean it runs and runs and runs. And you can watch any video on my channel running this thing in the sand and in the mud, in the rain, it does not matter. This thing just runs and runs until, and this is where we get into the real discussion, until around the magic number of 350 rounds to 400 rounds. If you go out to the range and you shoot, however cadence of fire you want to do. You can shoot either all of it in a burn down style, or you can shoot just 400 rounds and in slow fashion. It does not matter. For whatever reason, in my experience, when the gun gets to around 350 rounds to 400 rounds, you can feel it. You can physically feel it. So say this weapon is clear, say I were to fire, you can literally feel the gun cycle. Okay, and if you're holding the pistol how you should, with your thumbs both pointing towards the target, right, and having a good grip on the handgun, not trying to drive the gun down to prevent recoil, but just trying to have a good grip on the handgun as you should, you can literally feel the gun cycle in your thumb, the pressure from your thumbs almost prevents the gun from cycling. And I know Ben Steger had that same exact issue with his Staccato XC, which is concerning to me because when I'm shooting the pistol, if I'm shooting it as I'm supposed to be, I'm riding that safety as a gas pedal with my firing thumb, and both thumbs are applying pressure against that slide. What this is doing, it has never fully induced a malfunction, but what it is doing is it is slowing the cycling rate of the handgun, and I can almost feel it's happened a couple times, and you can see me on camera a few times in some of my videos. I'm shooting, and I'm in the middle of a drill, and I'm like, was that a malfunction? I'll say it out loud. Was that a malfunction? The reason I'm saying was that a malfunction is because I can feel chunk, 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 chunk. I can feel that slide like barely cycling. Okay, I don't know if that's a recoil spring issue or what, but it is, once this gun gets fouled up, and you can see how wet the gun is, we're going to talk about that in a second, but once this gun gets fouled up, it is very concerning. It's like, if you were to compare it, it's not the girl that in high school or college or whatever that you could leave on red, for all the kids out there, you can leave on red for days. No, this girl needs to be babied. She needs to be taken on dates, and she needs to be cleaned, wined, and dined. This is not your Glock. That is for sure, okay? Speaking of the girl in college, this girl needs to be wet, okay? Let's talk about that. You need to lubricate this girl. Now that we've used this analogy to death, she will not, and keep in mind, I've never had a malfunction, but the gun, like I said, the way the slide begins to cycle, once the gun becomes fouled and dry, it's working, but dude, I can't articulate it fully enough. It is like 300 rounds probably away, at least, from the gun not working at all. Like, you can tell, again, I haven't been able to replicate or fully prove that in my own testing, but if you look at administrative results, T-Rex Arms, Ben Stoger, and all the people testing these guns lately, you can see that around that 350 to 400 round mark, for most guys, if you don't lubricate it again, it starts to chunk, 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 and it's barely cycling. So just to use that example again, your Glock will run like literally for 8,000, 9,000 rounds. In a lot of cases, if you just every couple thousand rounds spray it down with a tiny bit of lube, not even a little bit, or not even a lot, because you don't want too much lubrication for your striker fire handguns, particularly Glock, because it'll get down to that striker channel and prevent the firing pin from fully hitting. But this thing, you do have to, if you run 300 rounds, you need to, when you get home, you need to take it apart, wipe it down, re-lubricate every single time. And if you're using it if you're a cop and you're using a Staccato P, for your duty gun, or you're carrying a Staccato C2 like this one for everyday carry, I would recommend once a week or so applying more lubrication to the gun to make sure that it is fully ready to rock and roll, okay? So yeah, it hasn't, like I said, I'll just say this again, it hasn't actually malfunctioned, but dude, if I wanted to and in a stressful situation, it would definitely induce a malfunction if I were to apply just a tiny bit more pressure on that slide. It would prevent that slide, as the dogs go crazy, it would prevent that slide from fully cycling, if that makes sense, guys. It's hard to articulate. You'll have to watch some of my videos and watch other YouTubers with more content out there as well to see that slide cycle, but yeah, we beat a dead horse on that. Okay, ammo, you don't need to modify anything on the gun. I have a Holostone 507 comp. It's running great on this thing, just a simple dot sight. No issues with that. I use the Dawson Precision mounting platform. But with all that being said, guys, if I was to summarize all of my experiences with the Staccato in one sitting, it would be this. Can you afford it? Are you going to take care of it like that girl in college that you had to wine and dine? Or is it going to be the girl in college that you could leave on red forever and then randomly hit her up at 2 in the morning and that's your Glock, okay? This girl needs to be wined and dined. She needs to be taken care of. But if you take care of it, it will take care of you. As long as you test the ammunition that you're going to put through the gun, you'll be fine. All right, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on the Staccato platform. Let me know what you're running and what your experiences have been. If you would pick this or a Glock or whatever, a SIG, Smith & Wesson, you name it. You let me know what you would decide. Thanks for being here. Reminder, if you want to be in the Patreon, Consider freaking, if you want to be in the Discord, consider the Patreon. It's only $5 a month. And until next time, this is going to be Trench Grenade, your average staccato taco. Leave your taco emoji down below. Enjoyer, signing out. Cheers.